listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LOZ Podcast Network. My name is Ken Lawler. I'm the creator of the LOZ app and the LOZ app Podcast Network. You are watching Lake Charity Champions, and today we have our wonderful guest, Shayna Abashan, with the executive director of Share the Harvest. Shayna, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
This is awesome. So, we love having charities in the app and on the podcast network. We get to share what's going on around the lake, kind of what you guys are trying to do as an organization. Tell me a little bit about Share the Harvest and what you guys do.
We pride ourselves in our partnerships with other organizations in our area. And, we offer diapers through the changing table that we get. So we're more of a resource center, but our main focus is feeding our community.
And, people like to think, well, I don't look on the street and see anybody, panhandling, and I don't see people sleeping in tents. So there's probably nobody at the lake who really needs the help. But that's not the case, is it?
No, that's not the case. And actually, going to your point about sleeping in tents, we do actually have a lot of transient in our area who are either homeless, either by design or by no choice. I'm not sure, but we do have those because we feed those people. We live in an area that's seasonal. So right now we're kind of in our summer lull. We'll actually slow down serving our community. We won't serve as many families during the summer months. But as soon as I say that, that trend will probably change. But
Right.
yeah, in general, people go back to work this time of year. So in our hardcore winter months is when we see a majority of our families coming in needing assistance. They work in seasonal jobs, resort jobs, construction work. So we see a lot of that, people in need in our winter months.
And so where do most of your donations come from? I know you get them from local grocery stores, help you guys out, but also a lot of private donations too, right?
We get a lot of private donations. I have a lot of steady people who give on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. We also do fundraising throughout the year, but our biggest fundraiser, our major supporter of our food pantry here is our thrift store. We have a wonderful thrift store. We've been voted 3 years in a row as the #1 thrift shop at the lake by Lake Media readers. So we're very proud of that. And that contributes a lot to our overhead and operational expense. But we still have to make up some shortfalls there. So we have a couple of fundraisers a year. Our major fundraiser is we partner with Frankie and Louie's and do a golf tournament the second Monday of September.
Okay. And is that something people can sign up for?
Yeah, that's open to the public. I'm going to be blasting out all that information here as soon as we get through our 20-year anniversary.
Yeah. So, that's kind of fun. So you guys do a golf tournament. People can contribute. They can, play in the golf tournament. They could probably donate at the golf tournament, bring, different things like that. If people want to just do something on their own, how would they stop by this thrift store and just bring stuff with them? Or how do they get the products or money or services you need?
Yeah. So with making donations to the thrift store in either way, either a monetary donation or making thrift store donations, we have quite the operation here. And I invite anybody to come by and see us. But because where we're located at 689 North State Highway 7, we got a little bit of a run on the market here per se. There's not any other thrift store in our area. You either have to go to Camdenton or to Sunrise Beach and Warri for a thrift store. So we accept donations of all your goods, mostly everything. We don't turn away too much. Patio furniture we take. The only thing we don't like to take is a lot of home improvements. And we refer people to the Restore for Habitat for Humanity for that. We just don't have the space or the room to put a lot of home improvement stuff. Like if you were tearing out your cabinets or vanities or things of that nature, we don't have the room for that. So we will accept anything, any time of the year. And we have a great storage system that we have here on site in order to rotate that stock. And our volunteers work very hard at making sure that the people who shop at our thrift store get the best value for their money.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you guys are providing a couple different services. I mean, you got the thrift store, which is cool, and
Hmm.
yet those proceeds are going to help to the food pantry. You have people
Hmm.
that are helping donate to the food pantry, and you have stores in town that are doing that. I mean, it's a real full circle community effort. And I know I read in your bio on your website that you guys have given away like what is it, 3 million pounds of? I'm trying to remember what the number is. Close to 3 million pounds of food.
Yeah, it's actually in the last 20 years we have helped 1.6 million households. So since we
Yeah.
incorporated in 2005, we have helped 1.6 million households. That
Oh, there it
approximates
is. Two
to
2.8 million pounds of food you guys have given away in the last 8 years. That's amazing. I mean,
yeah,
you're really
yeah,
helping a lot of people.
yeah, I think in the height of COVID, we hit the 1 million mark of food that we accepted, either through our food bank, which we're partner agency with the food bank for Central and Northeast Missouri out of Columbia. They are a wonderful food bank. So I encourage people, if you have the passion to not only help us, but to help others, to give to that organization too, because they do so much, and they're one of the very few food banks in the country that don't charge their partner agencies, with a fee.
Wow.
So that comes to us free. They work diligently with Feeding America to make sure that they can help us keep our shelves stocked.
And how did you get involved with all this? How did you get involved with the Share the Harvest, and how did you become the executive director?
Well, I was actually I was actually a title searcher working for one of our title companies here in our area. And I got the word that Share the Harvest was looking for a thrift store manager. I come from a very strong background of retail management, customer service. So I applied for the position for the thrift store manager in 2016. So this month, I'm celebrating my 9th year here at Share the Harvest.
Wow.
And then the executive director that was here at that time was really very ill, and then passed away. But I think he took me under his wing and he was grooming me to be the executive director. So when he passed away, we kind of went through a little bit of transition for about a year. And then in 2018, I became the full-time executive director.
And it seems like a full-time job too. I mean, I know you guys are open. You're not open every day, right? You're open 3 days a week, is it?
Our food distribution is open just 3 days a week, but
Okay.
we are doing things 5 days a week. We're either
Okay.
picking up food from our local vendors. Sometimes we also help some of our other partners in our area. So last week we were fortunate enough to get a lot of corn and a lot of okra from our food bank. And so Friday we spent the day delivering some of those things to our senior centers. Because we want it to go out to the public, and we want that food to be given away. We don't want it sitting at our facility and it go to waste. So we reach out to a lot of other entities in our community that are also serving the public like we do, and we share that with them.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really, and we want to talk about something that's coming up, right? So we
Right.
have the
Mhm.
20th anniversary celebration Friday, June 20th, 2025.
Yep.
It's an open house from 10 to 4.
Yeah.
You got a short program. They can take a tour of the facility. There's going to be a 50-50 raffle. Who doesn't love that?
Right.
Um,
And some other
50%
door
of
prizes.
yeah, and
We're
some of
going
the
to
door
do
prizes.
other
And I
things.
know the LOZ app's going to give you guys some gift cards to give away, so some little
Awesome.
attendance prizes.
Awesome.
And then, I mean, hot dogs and chips and soda. Come on, like,
Yeah.
why not show up, right? I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't love that?
I'm really excited to share our vision with the community. There's people that drive by our facility probably every single day, and their first time here, they say, "I've driven by this for 7 years and I didn't know this was this." They just drive by and they just think it's something along the side of the road. I'm not sure. But a lot of people also think we're not open to the public, and we are. We don't refuse food to anybody for any reason. So, um, you walk through our door and you're asking for food assistance, we're going to help you. Now, we get into a little sticky situation there, but we don't mind. We will help anybody from anywhere. Then we're going to give you some resources in your own community. I have people who come from 50 and 60 miles away to come to our facility. We've earned the reputation. I get feedback from surveys about how nice our personnel is. Nobody makes any judgments. We don't know what their situation is. I tell people that all the time, that we don't know what somebody's going through behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Whether it's
Yeah,
a
you
death
can
in
see
the
somebody that
family.
looks perfectly normal and you think, oh, they got life figured out, and you can't see behind the door, and you realize that, man, they need some serious help, and
Right.
thank God you guys are there to help them.
Yeah, I had a gentleman, he came from Edwards, and he made a substantial amount of money on a monthly basis, but his wife was very sick, and he was loaded down with a ton of medical debt. And so in order to make ends meet, he didn't come to us, a continuous space. He used us while he needed us. And I see a lot of people like that. I see some people that in the wintertime that I don't see in the summer, and vice versa. So we build relationships with the people that we serve, not only here in our food pantry, but in our thrift store. If we don't see a customer or a client for maybe a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months, we're on the phone calling and finding out, hey, we've missed you. What's happening? You know, we're concerned about the people in our community, and it shows when people walk in. From the feedback that I get from our surveys, we try to make people feel welcome, no judgment. And that makes all of us feel good about what we're doing.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, it's tough enough to go through a tough time. It's tough enough to reach out and ask for help. You don't need somebody trying to judge you when you're doing it as well. So
Right.
it's so cool that you guys are, so attuned to that and
Right.
make people feel welcome. And, that's a special thing. Well, I suggest people get there on the 20th because it's going to be a fun time, and they can look at the facility. They can maybe even donate while they're there.
Right.
And then also, if they want to find you, you guys are in the LOZ app, so you can go to the charity section of the LOZ app. You can look for Share the Harvest, and it'll have their number. It'll have their website. You can find out how to donate. You can find out how to use them. You can go to the thrift store and buy a bunch of stuff, right? Like, we love people that go to the thrift store and buy stuff, right?
And I want to bring up too is we partner with a lot of agencies. One of them is the Camden County Senior Tax Board. Helps fund us and take care of our seniors in our community. I have a great affinity for those seniors in our community. We give out an extra $65 to seniors who qualify to go shopping. It sucks if you're on a budget of $1,000 or less and you're getting $13 in food stamps. Come on now. Yeah. I hate to say that, but that's where the world and reality we live in. And I help those seniors. If they're in that category, they have very low income. A lot of our seniors, especially our women seniors, I don't want to take away from the men, but a lot of our women seniors, they were homemakers. They didn't make a lot of money. They stayed home and they helped their farm or their ranch. They raised their kids. And now they're forced into some times there that can make it very difficult for them, especially if they have an emergency. I get phone call. We help people with emergency funding. So they come in and they need some help, maybe taking care of that large electric bill. I can't pay for all of it, but I'm going to help. I'm going to give them a helping hand and send them on their way. Maybe give them some resources of some other people who can help them. We don't want anybody with their electric out. We don't want anybody put out of their home. We give some rent assistance. I help people with prescription medications. So we do a variety of things. And we also partner with so many other organizations in our area, like MOCA, COMC, some of those great organizations we partner with also to make sure that people in our community are taken care of.
And I know, the shootout's coming up, shootout events. We have 15 events left for the summer, which is a lot. Yeah. And people can sign up and they can become a volunteer and they can select you guys as the beneficiary of their.
We're not actually a beneficiary organization, but if you do choose the Laurie Sunrise Beach Rotary Club.
That's right. The Laurie Sunrise Beach Rotary Club is your.
I'm a member of the Laurie Sunrise Beach Rotary Club. They've been very good to Share the Harvest. I've gotten a couple of community grants from them to help upgrade some of our appliances and things like that. But if you want to volunteer for the shootout, volunteer under the Laurie Sunrise Beach Rotary Club, and then they're going to in turn pass those funds on to us. and a couple of other organizations. We won't be the only organization. I love to share.
Yeah, I can
There's a lot
tell
of
you.
times we do food drives, and there's a little food pantry out in Ivy Bend called the Ivy Bend Food Pantry. And they're the little engine that could. They don't have nearly the operational budget, the volunteers, the time or space that we have. So I like to share with them and some of the other organizations in our area. I think if we all come together and have this mentality of community togetherness, we can all help one another. There shouldn't be any division of you do this, you do that. We try to help everybody.
Yeah, you need to be the Switzerland of charities, right? Like everybody can help
Exactly.
everybody, and
Yeah.
that's so cool. And I know that you and I have met on a couple of occasions. We
Yeah.
were in some of the same groups, and Shayna, I just think you're doing such an awesome job, and you're
Thank
helping
you.
so many people. And we wanted to get you on the podcast because we want to talk about everything that's going on with you and Share the Harvest, not just for the thing coming up on the 20th, but also just throughout the year. And like you said, the summertime is probably not the most time in need. It's when it gets to the winter and people have heating bills and they need food and they need assistance. And
Right.
so, that part of it is so crucial. And I hope that anybody who's watching in the LOZ app, we have 30,000 users now. So
Right.
out there's several people I know that could either volunteer, donate, somehow help this charity out and make sure that, you're doing your part. And you can find them right in the charity section of the LOZ app. Just go click on the button and you can contact them and see how to help. But thanks for joining us today and telling us
I
about
want
the
to say real
charity.
quick, Ken, can I say something real quick?
You sure can.
It's not just me. I'm just the face of the organization that's out in the public. It's my volunteers, my board of directors, and all people like you, Lake TV, some of those others out there who invite me to speak, Rotary Club, wherever, Kiwanis, I've done it all. We can't do it without our community support, and we can't do it without our volunteers. So they are really the heartbeat of our organization. I'm just the person at the helm. So
Yeah, but it really does take a village, and
Yeah.
everybody's helping out, and it's this great organization. I'm so glad to have you today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll try to catch up with you again in the fall, right before the winter, and we'll try to get the word out again about those winter months that are so tough. But thanks for joining us on Lake Charity Champions today and the LOZ App Podcast Network. We look forward to talking to you again and obviously seeing you at your event on the 20th. So thanks
sounds
again,
great.
everybody. We will
Thank
be
you.
back with another episode of the LOZ Podcast Network as you guys are getting bombarded with all the fun things going on around the lake. We talk to people who are in business. We talk to people who are charitable organizations, and it's a great way to kind of check into all the local things going on around Lake of the Ozarks. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you guys next time.